trolling him at this point. That was a short rule. And he's like, "How dare you? I'm the Supreme Demon King." And he says, "Are you thought?" And he's like, "I thought you were senile." And here you have Marba and Arinsu, and they said you can repent for the next 100 years in here. And he's like, "What?" And he goes like, "But I didn't kill Dente." No, Piccolo, he ends up going like, "But he didn't try to kill Dente." And he's like, "Right, I'm a good guy at heart." And he's like, "We'll make it 99 years. And he's like, "What? Don't do it." And and so from here, Dr. Arinsu, I don't know, she starts smoking something there that sends the energy right out next to Gomah, and it is, of course, Degasu, and they've got him wrapped up in all this purple bubblegum look up, and he's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Let's include Degasu so he has some company." And so Marba's like, "Splendid idea." And so this is pretty much the Mafuba, which was of course a big deal back in Dragon Ball when Muten Roshi, aka Master Roshi, tried to take Piccolo Daima, aka King Piccolo, and it was brought back in Dragon Ball Super, of course, when they forgot about trying to use it against Zamasu, aka also Goku Black. And so they end up going ahead and it forms all around them, and there you go, Gomah and Degasu, total, like I said, based on the Mafuba, goes right into this jar, and they are sealed, and that's all she wrote for them. And they said it's snug in there, but it's pretty nice, isn't it? And Goku's trying to look at it. He's retrieved his power pole, of course, and he's like, it has a small garden and all sorts of games for them. And they're like, you can hear them just rambling, not enjoying that they have to spend the next 99 years here. And so there you see Dr. Arinsu completely happy about this, as Gomah and Degasu are out of the picture and stuff. I didn't know they had that type of pull, honestly. Marba and Degasu, they can decide punishment and send who to jail or whatever, so they lock them all up in there. And so from here, the question is asked, who will be the next Supreme Demon King? And it's right here. Nadare suggests his sister. Why don't you take on the role? She mentions that she's higher ranking than all their rivals. And it's from here, basically, she says, because Nadare mentions that that's what she wanted. And she's like, huh. She says, I didn't expect that from you. And he says, I realize that you retain a silver of conscience. And she goes like, what a disgusting thing to say. And you could tell, like I said, from their moment interaction, you could tell that Nahare obviously has a much better relationship with his sister than he did with his brother. Apparently she looked like she wasn't too fond of their brother either, Degasu and stuff. And she's like, let me be clear. And this totally reminds me of what Frieza, aka Frieza, said at the end of Dragon Ball Super when they gave him his life back. She says, my ambitions hasn't changed one bit, and says a terrifying demon world that rivals the outside world. And it's from there, she says she refused, though, and says if she became the Supreme Demon King, gaining magic powers from the Dragon Balls, she'll end up getting overthrown by someone else. We got somebody in the chat here. Matthew says Demon King Majin Kuu. And average CAI user says hello, hello monkey. Right, the classic line from Frieza and all that stuff. I was so funny in Dragon Ball Super when he came down from the Dragon Balls and he basically tells all the Saiyajins, he's like, ho, hello monkeys. Well, boy, if Frieza would have ever fought SS4 Goku, just imagine the monkey references you would have got on there. And then from there, she says she just ended up getting overthrown, and that's where Neva says that's it. The one who defeats the Supreme Demon King is the first in line to succeed them. And they're like, huh? And everybody's like, huh? And they're looking at each other. And then I love how everybody flips over to Majin Kuu and said, the one who defeats the Supreme Demon King? And Kuu's like, oh, me? And they're like, huh? And he's like, I see, it's me. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll be the Supreme Demon King. And so he ends up forming this cape on the back, and there you go. This was cool, actually. If you follow, those of you out there that follow Geekdom 101, one of the most well-researched and knowledgeable Dragon Ball fans out there, he actually had, when he was doing his leaks and everything, this is one of the leaks that he showed, that the Majin Kuu character would have this cape. So man, that really shows like, oh wow, that was right towards the end and everything there. And so they're like, he's the new Supreme Demon King? Like, just the shocked look on everyone's faces. They're like, what? And from here you get to see Dr. Arinsu's like, do you even understand what you're taking, the responsibility that you're taking on? And he's like, of course I do. And then he goes like, Arinsu-sama, I choose you to be my Vice Supreme Demon King. Let me take a sip of break here for the water, a sip of water for break. All right, so he's chosen Arinsu as his vice president. She's like, oh, what? And he's like, he's a much better judge of character than what she is. And she says, and she's like, you were very ambitious, but have a heart. But at heart, you're not all bad, which is kind of what I figured with Dr. Arinsu, that she's probably not going to be a villain. She just kind of seems mysterious and everything. It's just like her brother seemed very mysterious and potentially evil in the beginning of the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai, but of course he ended up being a good guy. Though Dr. Arinsu still, though, has some pretty bad ambitions, like wanting to make the demon realm a terrifying place. So I'm not sure how all that really works there, but I guess in the end, yeah, she's not really that bad of a woman, is she? She's got heart there, right? She mentions, and Dr. Majin Kuu goes on to mention how she has brains. She has brains and she can plan out powerful weapons, and more importantly, he's like, you made me. And you have Majin Buu just flying and chasing this butterfly in the background, and Majin Buu ends up becoming a minister, and Marba and Neva are chosen too as well, and they're shocked that they're getting this such high power. And he's like, you have knowledge and skill and magic power, and you know about the demon realm. So I mean, Majin Kuu, for having been born just recently, I mean, he definitely has quite the brain on him, and smart, and thinking all this out and everything. And he points toward Glorio, says you can be a minister too. So it's cool because Glorio was rescued from Dr. Arinsu from the third demon realm, and now he's going to be put in the highest position possible in the first demon realm. So I thought it was a really cool story for him. He's like, for Majin, you have real qualities and good judgment of heart, and he says King Kaden will be the minister too and stuff like this. So man, that's just like incredible from there. And he's like, me and stuff like that. Man, and yeah, I love how you see Majin Buu just flying off there in the background and stuff like that. And he's mentioning how, you know, you have courage to come to fight for the demon realm and stuff like that, and it makes it worthy. And he's like, but I'm a Majin from the third demon realm. And he's like, I've never heard of anything like that. And he's like, then you are the first minister from the third demon realm. So man, that's pretty cool. Like, I love how King Caden's just, you know, his stock has risen. That's what Majin Kuu's doing for these guys, just making their lives a lot better. And so you see Pansy, you know, she's just excited as ever for her father, and you know, he's really been moved up and stuff like that. And Majin Kuu lets them know, he's like, you people from the outside world, you know, you've done amazing, and says, is anyone here wants to be a minister? And Goku, I love how he raises his hand basically like he's got a question to say, but he goes like, no, we're going home. Perfect, just absolute perfect way for Son Goku to absolutely respond. So that was really awesome. I'm absolutely loving how he was able to do that for this. So I thought that was fantastic. And so it's from here that we get Goku, he still smiles. He says, okay then, anyone else want to be a minister? And you got Hibiscus, or Hibis, and he's like, yes, me. Hibis was just one of the funniest characters, I would say, through this entire series for Dragon Ball's Daima. Really absolutely loved him as a character. He was definitely funny. He was a great background character that kept the comedy going. So I'm gonna miss a lot of these new characters, honestly. And so he's like, well then, that concludes my perfect assignments. And so everyone's got their fists in the air and their hands in the air, praising the new Super Demon King, Majin Kuu. And there you go. You got everybody in the back. I'm not sure how the Zandamari guys fit in this, because I'm like, hey, what they did earlier, some of those guys, what they were doing earlier when they were taking that poor guy, and putting the whatever that suction tank thing was on his neck, and taking what was little left of his whole thing like that. Like, man, that was crazy. And stuff like that in terms of why they were doing that with taking his life. So I'm like, man, they got to do something better for that and stuff. In the comments we got Blitz Drake says, so Daima era Goku went to hell, fought demons, turned into a monkey only to lose to base Kaba. I'm not sure where that scenario would come from, but it sounds pretty wild. Thanks for joining the chat. So yeah, and even these little blue characters in the background, it looked like what is that called? I'm trying to think. What is that called? Man, what is that called? It was called the well, I'm trying to think, what was it called? Like the Grand Priest and stuff like that. Like, I think it was like the Grand Priest. Man, that was something that was really incredible there. So I think that they may be the origins of the Grand Priest, but that was not explained. Got a bit to talk about as far as what's not explained and stuff like that. So Neville's like, wait a minute, hold on a moment. Said he might be actually really good at this job and stuff like that. So there you go. You got Majin Kuu going on, basically says, let's work together to make the demon world a scary yet good place to live, Dr. Arinsu. And she's like, right. And so there you go. It's like inauguration or something right there. You got Arinsu and Majin Kuu flying all over the place, and if everybody gives them high praise. And Kuu, you know, he's been quite the politician here, like, yeah, you know. Reminds me of like Mr. Satan all the time when he's like, yeah, the champ, yeah. You know, and everything, trying to make sure he looks good and stuff for the cameras and everything. So you have Piccolo there. The new Supreme Demon King is King Kuu, and he says no objections here. So I thought that was pretty cool, as you see in the water flowing out of Demon World 2, and we go through the tunnel from Demon Realm 2 into the third Demon Realm back at the castle. Towards the end of the episode here, you have Gomah being given that Magi light that was promised to her in earlier episodes of Dragon Ball Daima. And there you see, she's got all this, and she's got a ton of it. And once again, I just wonder if this is going to come into play very much so when we get to Dragon Ball, whenever Dragon Ball Super comes back and everything. I would love to see that happening. And so from there, she's like, I didn't even need that much, but she's like, she took it from Gomah's palace and stuff. So they beat Gomah and stole his riches and all that stuff, and they just started laughing at that. And then there you go, chocolate chip cookies and everything, all for Majin Kuu and Do and stuff like that. Oh no, they were getting them. They were like telling them, you eat all this and stuff on the way to the ride, and says, giving them some treats. And there you see they start boarding on with it, and they start boarding the plane. And oh boy, this is where we get to perhaps the most controversial part of this episode.